What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to bring you a video for my top 5 long-range ARs or LMGs after the mid-season update. I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to go through my loadouts and then I'm going to go over the stats. I understand if you just want to stay for the loadouts, but if you want to go into a little more of the data behind some of my choices, stick around for that. But we'll go ahead and we'll get into the top 5 AR or LMG long-range options right now. All right, so we're going to start off with what I have at number 5, and that is the RPD. I made a video a while ago about this being a laser beam with no recoil, and that hasn't changed. It's just gotten a little bit more competitive due to all the stat changes regarding all of the LMGs and the RPD and the attachments and everything that's been changing since this gun's been added to the game. Now it's competitive, and it's got no recoil. It's got a good time to kill, competing with everything on this list. All these guns compete at the highest level, and it just feels great. It's got good Cold War movement. It's got no recoil. It's got a good time to kill. And overall, I think if people try this thing out, you'll start seeing the RPD a lot more. Every gun I have paired with right now is the Cold War MP5, just because I'll have a SMG ranking video coming, and you can't go wrong with Cold War MP5, but I just put it as a placeholder in for everything. I'm not running every loadout with the Cold War MP5, but the RPD class is GRU Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, both for bullet velocity, damage range, the suppressor to stay off the mini-map, and vertical recoil control, and the barrel for horizontal and vertical recoil control. Spetsnaz grip for vertical and horizontal recoil control. Axe arms 3 times, because that's my favorite long-range sight. It's up to you what you want to run on there. And then I have the fast mag. It's still, I believe, what is it? It's 75 rounds, just like the Stoner on the RPD, which is plenty. I just can't stand the slow reload. I want to get back into the fight. If you don't mind the normal reload and 75 is enough for you, you could also get rid of the fast mag and go with the GRU elastic wrap for a faster ADS. I wouldn't worry about any laser or stock, because this is an LMG. It's Cold War, so it's got better movement than the Modern Warfare LMGs, but it's an LMG, and it's only going to get so quick to move around with. So if you don't mind the normal mag, both reload time, and you like the 75 rounds, I would go with the GRU Elastic Wrap. Otherwise, this is how I would build it out. And my perks and lethal and tactical are the same for every loadout, like they always are. EOD or double kill if you'd like overkill and amped. Semtex is what I use, but you can use thermite or throwing knives, and then I use the heartbeat, or you can use stuns, flashes, gas grenades. And like I said, I just have the MP5 as placeholder. Now at number 4, we have the FARA. The FARA is still very good. Still doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. Still is very competitive to kill. And it's still a really fun and easy gun to use. The loadout's the same. It's always been, for all the same reasons. We have the GRU Suppressor, the Spetsnaz RPK barrel, the Spetsnaz grip, the 60-round mag, and the Axo arms 3 times. All the same reasoning as the RPD and what every loadout's going to be. I would love to see an attachment meta change, but we'll see. I'd like to see some variety in attachments. And I have seen point out lately, you could go, instead of the Spetsnaz, you could go Liberator or the Liberator equivalent on any of these guns, because it gives you the same bullet velocity as this barrel. You don't get the effective damage range or the recoil control, but you do get faster ADS. To me, I'd rather have the bullet velocity and damage range and the recoil control, so I stick with the Spetsnaz RPK barrel. Once again, placeholder MP5, same perks, lethal and tactical. Then 3, I have the Stoner. I just put out a video calling this the best LMG in Warzone, and I completely stick with that. And it's better than the FARA, even though I think you could switch the FARA and the Stoner depending on how you like to play. The Stoner, same loadout, agency suppressor and task force barrel for the bullet velocity and the damage range, the sound suppression and the recoil control, field agent grip for the recoil control, Axo arms 3 times, but sight is your choice, and the fast mag for the same reasons the RPD. This is another 75 round mag, and I just want the faster reload. I'm good with the 75. Just like the RPD, if I would change anything, I wouldn't worry about the movement attachments, and I would just focus on ADS. Same thing with probably all of these guns, since you're using it more for long range. Placeholder MP5, same perks, lethal, and tactical grenade. Number 2 is the gun that I see a lot of people using, and that is the Krig. The Krig has like absolutely no recoil. It's the best, it's probably the best no recoil AR in the game. It's better than the Kilo. It's better than the QBZ, even though only by a little bit, as you saw in my QBZ video. But I still think it's better than the QBZ. And you'll notice it's gotten really popular since the C58 and the FARA nerfs. And so I had to put it in there. I had to put it as number 2, just partially because of the popularity and also because it does have like no recoil. Even though the time to kill, I believe, is one of the slower on this list. Agency Suppressor, CMB Mil-Spec Barrel is the task force. You can go Ranger, just like with the FARA, you go Liberator. For the same reasons. Field Agent Foregrip, 60 round mag, and Axial Arms 3 times. Once again, the only change I might make is the GRU Suppressor, not the GRU Suppressor, the GRU Elastic Wrap, or on this one, the Airborne Elastic Wrap, instead of like the Field Agent Grip, if you don't mind the recoil control. Other than that, this is how I would build it, and it's the same how pretty much everyone's building it. A lot of people that are good with the recoil control are getting rid of the Field Agent Grip in favor of the Airborne Elastic Wrap, and I've seen some people do stocks or lasers, but this is how I would build it. And placeholder MP5, same perks, same lethal, and same tactical. And then number 1, C58. It got nerfed. You have to hit headshots, but it's not that hard to mix in one headshot, and once you mix in one headshot, it's extremely competitive, and I just think it feels great. I like the movement. It's got like one of the fastest reloads and the fastest reload on this list. It ADS is pretty quick. It's got good Cold War AR movement, and I think it's the best long-range option right now. It does have a really slow fire rate, so you do have to hit your shots, but you have to hit your shots anyways. And this thing just makes in 1 or 2 headshots, and this thing absolutely destroys. I think you'll be seeing a lot of this. I think you're really going to be seeing this or the Krig, even though I think you could switch out the Krig or the C58 for 1 and 2 probably, and you could also switch in the Stoner there if that's your playstyle. Really, I think 3 through 1 are the most interchangeable on this list. Maybe the FARA gets in there, but I think the C58 is the best long-range option right now. And it's the same build: Agency Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Field Agent Grip, 55 round mag, and 3 times for all the same reasonings. I've had the most success with this lately. I've seen its popularity stay through the nerfs, and I think this is the best long-range option. But those are all the loadouts. If you want to go into more depth, I'm going to continue on to True Game Data and JGOD's spreadsheet. But if not, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video. My social medias are tagged down below. And let's move on to the data portion. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and start off on True Game Data. Sorry, I have that on extremities. And we'll start off with full plates, chest shots. And you can see the C58 is right around the middle in the early range. And then it drops off kind of hard for chest shots. And the RPD doesn't do great with only chest shots. It's not too competitive, except for this range here between about 39 to about its first damage drop off at about 59, but still competitive. The Stoner, it just hangs around the middle the whole time. And the FARA, if you're hitting all chest, the Krig, same thing, hangs around the middle, very close time to kill. And then if you look at the FARA, it beats everything out, drops off, and then after everything drops off, it beats everything out into perpetuity fairly handedly. But that's only if you're hitting chest shots. If you look at headshots, now the C58, nothing touches the C58. It's got no damage drop off for headshots, and everything's fairly competitive until everything drops off. Well, the Stoner and the RPD also don't drop off, but that gap's pretty big between them if you're hitting all headshots with the C58. And then if you look at stomach, the C58, it's the same thing as the chest. Everything's kind of where it was before. If you look at the chest, nothing really changes positioning. And the C58 mostly is just hanging around the middle. So it's headshots that really matter for the C58, and I just like the way it feels. And then if you go extremity, same thing. Everything kind of hangs in the middle, except the Krig jumps up to the top, and the RPD comes down a little bit and just hangs around the middle. As you can see, the TTK charts aren't huge. I mean, it starts at just above 0.6, and other than going on into infinity, doesn't really get higher than 0.9. You go to the hundreds. I mean, it's not a huge time to kill difference. It's going to come down to shots made and shots missed, but everything here is competitive. The C58 always hangs around the middle and then just dominates with headshots. So when you look at the time to kill charts, I think if you average them all out, the C58 comes out on top. And it's part of the reason, like I said, I love it so much, is you mix in just a headshot or two, and you're still absolutely melting people despite the changes. But let's jump over to JGOD's spreadsheet, and we'll go ahead and get into some of his numbers so you can visualize the numbers and not just the charts. And we'll compare some of the numbers over there. All right, and we're over on JGOD's spreadsheet. I went and moved my cam up into the top right corner just so it's not blocking into the data here. So right now we're looking at, here we have the C58, and if you look, it doesn't have a great long range time to kill, 764 milliseconds, which, and this is his practical TTK, you know, what he thinks people, where they're going to be hitting their shots. The RPD's beating it 736. The Stoner's beating it 668. The FARA is beating it 684. And the Krig's beating it at 736. But that's accounting for, like, I think JGOD does like all chest or chest and stomach shot mix. I don't quite remember. I think it's all chest shots though. And now when you look in, you mix one headshot in. Now it's 655. The RPD is still beating it, but only by 11 milliseconds. The Stoner is now losing to it. The FARA is now losing to it. The Krig is now getting destroyed by it. And I mean, so now you mix in one headshot, and the C58 is beating everything that I listed in my loadouts except the RPD. The RPD is beating it there, but the Stoner's losing to it. The FARA's losing to it. The Krig is losing to it. And if you mix in, even if you mix in two headshots, the RPD still beating it by the same amount. Now the Stoner beats it by a lot. The Krig's still losing to it. And the FARA is beating it by a decent amount. But it's a lot harder to mix in two headshots than one headshot, and one headshot isn't that hard to mix into your shots, especially if you play on controller, you have aim assist, and these guns don't have a lot of recoil. They are fixing the 4x reticle bug that gives it even less recoil than 3x. So I didn't include that in my loadout. I'm sticking with it 3x, and even with the 3x, the recoil is reduced, and it's not hard to mix in this one headshot. Like I said, it's a lot harder to mix in two headshots, but one's not that hard, especially since guns pull up, aim at their chest, just let it rise a little, and you have a headshot. And when that happens, only the RPD's beating it out, and only by 11 milliseconds, which is one bullet missed, maybe, if that much of a difference. So once again, that's why I have it as my number one. It's got better movement than the RPD because it's an assault rifle, and just one headshot makes it beat out all the other options on the list. Plus, it's got that really quick reload and everything else. So if you made it this far, thank you for making it this far. I really would appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe. Visit my social medias linked down below. I'll see you for dance. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.